So good morning, everyone. How are we doing? So it's a true pleasure to be here this morning, and I want to start off by thanking Jessica and the NextGov team and my colleague Mark from the Intel Corporation. So we ready for the slides? So I thought we'd spend just a few minutes talking about the art of the possible, and specifically if the Modernizing Government Technology Act were to be put into place, what is the art of the possible for our agency customers and for our systems integrator partners? First of all, I think we owe both Congresswoman Kelly and Congresswoman Hurd a big round of applause and thanks for continuing to champion this issue. Because as you know, one of the ongoing problems has been that many of our customers, due to the continuing resolutions and flat budgets across the board, haven't felt like they had the funds to invest in order to start achieving transformational outcomes. And so this creates a tremendous opportunity, I believe, for us to really work more closely with our government partners to really do interesting and creative things. And as you heard the Congresswoman say, the tech clique of Congressman Hurd, Congresswoman Kelly, Congressman Connolly, and Congressman Meadows are out to get the job done. So let's talk for a few minutes about how we can help them. So this is a really interesting concept here, and I'd like you to think differently about the IT transformation and tech refresh challenge. So you heard Mark say earlier that since they helped Sandia build this large supercomputer several years ago, there's been a 6,000 to 1 increase in performance. And what we routinely see is that every 5 years, compute capacity has a 10x performance increase, storage density a 10x performance increase, and network bandwidth around a 10x performance increase. There's two fundamental things that I want you to take away from this slide. Most of our federal customers are planning their 5-year budget, right? And federal contracts typically are 5 years in length. So let's help our federal customers think differently about acquisitions and take advantage of that 10x performance increase, right? How can we help them write better requirements, service level agreements, service level objectives to either keep the funding flat and an increase in performance, or the same performance with decreased cost over time? That's how industry can help. Separately, I would tell you there's a tremendous nexus of capability occurring in our market right now. The top left is a white paper from General Electric that was published in 2012. They, at that time, were thinking ahead. What if we could save both our internal business units and our customers 1% a year by digitally transforming? 5 years later, you've seen the advertisements on TV, right? GE and the industrial internet, they're a software company today. And they're using things like their digital twin technology, which is powered by capabilities in our portfolio and our family of companies, to do new and innovative things, to actually use virtual reality and artificial intelligence to see the mechanics of the jet engine on the wing of the airplane. And they're helping their commercial airline customers by selling them thrust and aircraft availability. They no longer sell engines or lease engines to the airlines. They're saving the airlines millions of dollars a year in jet fuel by using digital technology to think differently about the problem. Peter Levine talks about that cloud is dead, but what he's really saying is that cloud characteristics are moving to the edge of the networks. That in an Internet of Things world, you need the automation that you get from cloud characteristics all the way at the edge so you can do analytics at the point of ingest. Maurice Conti at Autodesk talks about the increased ability to use artificial intelligence and virtual reality to create new things faster or to decision faster. And that's exactly what GE is doing. But I think one of the most important recent findings is an Economist article from May 6th that talks about data is the new oil, right? Data is a currency. Now let's think about that for a second, because what's really interesting is that when you consume a barrel of oil, you either get the power to drive your car across the United States or to power a small city for a day. But when you consume data and think differently about data and then curate the data because you've learned something from your examination of the data, data becomes even more valuable over time. And the opportunity cost of reuse is marginal, almost nil. So if you think in those terms, imagine the art of the possible for our government. If we could help our government customers unlock the value of their data, it would have immeasurable value to the citizens of our nation, but also to other industry partners to do new and different things. So how do we take advantage of this? Well, as you all know, right, the curve on the left, the blue curve, is the operations required, or the funding required to operate and keep the lights on. And that has been growing over time, and it's about to take a shift as we start to digitally transform and leverage cloud capabilities. The problem, as I said earlier, is that our government customers have had very little funding to make that shift. So we often talk to our customers and then share the lessons learned from their experiences about how to modernize, automate, and transform across these two curves, and how to successfully navigate optimization of both curves at the same time. The MGT Act is the funding necessary to help them accelerate this process. This is how we can really help our federal agency customers. And it all becomes about differentiation. Are you spending all your money just to keep the lights on? Or are you able to invest in that which gives you unique competitive advantage? The services that allow your consumers or customers to do the new and different things they must do to come back again and again. So at Dell Technologies, we think we're uniquely positioned to help our customers by focusing on 5 areas of digital transformation. And typically, what we would do is take those lessons learned from like customers, federal, commercial, and enterprise, and share those as appropriate to help accelerate our customers along this path. But it's all about thinking differently about that which is already in your data center. How do you optimize your legacy investments, right? You know, for years, our customers have individually competed every component in their data center, all the hardware, all the software, et cetera. We have a big commercial telco customer that was doing the same thing, and they were spending 88% of their budget just keeping the lights on. Why? Because at every layer of the data center stack, they had at least 2 vendors, and each of those vendors was delivering at least 2 operating systems, typically N-1 and N-2. At the end of the day, they were managing 6.3 billion points of integration. That's why it was so expensive to keep the lights on. In the modern era, you can acquire cloud infrastructure that's manufactured, integrated, and ready to deliver cloud capabilities from the moment it's plugged in on the data center floor. And even if you still compete and have 2 vendors in your environment, you're down to only managing 330 points of integration. So imagine the savings that can be achieved with the same people, the opportunity to retrain them to do new and different things to deliver new services. In order to do that, you have to think differently about the cloud layer in there. You have to use open APIs, and you have to think about a multi-cloud strategy. Our biggest enterprise customers don't have just one cloud, just like there's not one stack of infrastructure in most of our customers' data centers. They're leveraging multiple clouds, putting things in the right place to optimize the benefits of the outcome. So at Dell EMC and Dell Technologies, we help our customers to modernize, automate, and transform across this continuum. The modernization piece typically is standardization and virtualization, the ability to get up to 90 or 95% virtualized in your environment, not just the application layer, but the storage, network, and compute, because that allows you to then write blueprints in the automation tools so that you can write once, publish across the enterprise, and benefit from the governance, risk, and compliance that provides for much higher availability. And when you've done those things, now the people in that data center have the opportunity to work on much more focused mission and business outcomes to help transform the organization. At the end of the day, we work intently on these areas to help our customers, and we have lots of lessons learned to share. For instance, workforce transformation. Working collaboratively with Microsoft and General Dynamics, we deliver the largest Office 365 solution in the federal government today. We have over 140,000 customers leveraging Office 365 across the Air Force, Defense Logistics Agency, and the Army Corps of Engineers, and that's growing rapidly. IT transformation. We're delivering to the Department of Defense an on-prem secure cloud that is currently being certified up to the Impact Level 5 DoD certification level, so it can operate unclassified national security systems. Digital transformation. Our friends at Pivotal help Cloud.gov, the folks at 18F, bake the FedRAMP controls into their platform as a service offering. So customers across the federal government can now write new applications, typically in less than 90 days, that are ready to be certified in less than a week. Right? The average application certification process has taken 18 to 24 months. And we can help you get it down to a week so you can realize new outcomes faster. And then security transformation, right? There's thousands of point products out there. So how can we help you bake security in, secure your networks, your endpoints, et cetera, from all the way from cloud to the expeditionary edge? So we do that by focusing on what NIST tells us is the definition of cloud, right? Broad network access, measured service, online standardized self-service portal, resource pooling, and rapid agility. These are the things that we believe agencies should own, okay? But the underlying storage, network, and compute, once it's software defined, there's no requirement for them to own that. It doesn't differentiate their ability to serve the customers of that agency. So they need to plan from their mission back so they can execute out effectively, and they need to think in terms of a multi-cloud strategy where they can optimize workload positioning based on security, capacity, performance, the right service levels, and most importantly, total cost of ownership. The ability to leverage 3 nines in those commercial FedRAMP clouds off-prem, 5 nines in their data center for the appropriate workloads, and then leveraging enterprise class cloud capabilities for things like SAP and Oracle, Epic and Cerner, those complex apps that 5 years ago people said couldn't be virtualized and would never run in the cloud. So how can we help? Well, regardless of MGT will absolutely be an accelerant to this process. We help by meeting our customers where they're at, across that modernize, automate, and transform portfolio. And in some cases, in the same data center, in the same agency, they'll have some applications and systems that are all the way over on the right, and other applications and systems that are stuck in the middle. So the point is, we'd like to bring those lessons learned and meet our customers right where they're at to help accelerate their transformational outcomes. Last 2 things I want to leave with you. First of all, cloud is not a product. Okay? There was a considerable effort a couple of years ago to classify cloud as a product. Cloud is not a product, it's a service that delivers business outcomes. And in order to get cloud right, you really have to think about 3 different aspects of any agency, right? The applications themselves, the capabilities they deliver, the underlying infrastructure, right? The IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS. And it shouldn't matter if it's on-prem or off-prem, private or public. You should have the tools necessary to put those workloads in the right place at the right time to achieve your mission requirements. And once you do those things, then you can start to transform your agency's operating model. And the transformational curve for that operations model is probably the hardest to affect because it's a people and process issue. It's not a technology problem. So how do we help? We typically help by, in this cloud-first world, helping our customers navigate the right strategy that focuses on the total cost of ownership, workload placement, prioritizing what should be done first, second, and third, what investments are required to get there, and how to take a brand agnostic approach to achieving the right outcomes for their mission and business requirements. So at the end of the day, the customers that have taken this journey with us are seeing tremendous benefits. And when we talk about hybrid cloud, we're talking about true dispersed infrastructure capabilities that can interoperate with one another, okay? And it could be two government data centers of the same agency, two government data centers of different agencies, or it could be a government data center interacting with an off-prem commercial capability. But at the end of the day, our customers should have choice. And the multi-cloud world is the world of the future. And when they go down this path, they're seeing significant savings, which, as we heard a moment ago from Congresswoman Kelly, those savings potentially could be reinvested and have an exponential effect to move our customers forward. So at the end of the day, what we want you to think about Dell Technologies and our partnership with the other industry partners that are here today is that individually we specialize, okay? And collectively we can help you transform. So thank you very much for your time today. It was truly a pleasure to be here, and I hope that today's conversations will use these types of thoughts to really expand on where we can go as we modernize government technology.